Just a reminder of that very old story about the arrogant king who demanded that everyone bow down their head on the floor in front of him when they met him. And there was that one day when he held a very great reception for all of the populace. But of course, when he entered the reception hall in his pomp and regalia, everyone bowed with their heads on the floor except one old dervish who was standing amongst the throng. And the king was very, very angry about this. So he marched up to the old dervish and he said, "Only God does not bow down before the king, and nothing is greater than God. Who then are you?" And the dervish, standing tall, said, "I am that nothing." And how many times have we read from the pundits, in the stories, in the songs, "Become nothing and I'll make you everything. Give it all and you will receive all. Die while you're alive and be absolutely dead. Then all that you do will be good." How many times are you seeing it now, today, everywhere you look, giving us confirmation that indeed something definitive has occurred for us? But over these last days, with the last stories, it's been indicated that we have to explore now what it is that is there for us when indeed all that we were has been annihilated, that we've seen the last motes of the ash of what once was being blown away by, what would we call it? Life, the divine wind, whatever. So in that vein, beginning to explore what might be there for us. There's another old story about another arrogant king who, again, like so many kings and emperors that we have read about in history, who believe that they are greater than gods, or at least equal to them. And this is about that arrogant king who himself believed that he had the power of life and death over all. He held life's fate in his hands. And he had 3 very lovely daughters, and he called them to him, seeking a reassurance from them. So, of course, it was stated to them, "You know, of course, that I hold your life and your well-being in my hands." And the first daughter agreed, "Yes, Father, you are supreme above all," waxing lyrical about what she believed him to be. And the second daughter also doing the same, affirming to him what he had said to them. But when it came to the third daughter, she made a statement to the king which angered him very greatly, because it seemed to refute what he was saying. So in his great anger, he had her taken to a dungeon and incarcerated there. After some time, he went down to see how she was faring. And although she was pale and wan, she was still abiding with what she had stated to him, which again made him very angry. So he said, "Your very presence here is undermining my authority, but I am merciful. So instead of disposing of you, I will merely banish you to the far reaches of our kingdom." And so this is what happened to the third maiden, the third princess. She was taken to a dense forest at the far reaches of the kingdom, where she was left to fend for herself. Now she soon discovered that nature, life, provided all her needs, the fiber to make clothing for herself, the nuts and seeds that abounded in the bushes around, the fruit from the trees, the water from the streams. And she learned the ways of nature and was very greatly content. But after some while, as these stories go, a merchant came riding in to the forest, and seeing this beautiful maiden, of course, they fell in love, and he asked her hand in marriage, and so they were wed. But it was decided that they would remain in this wilderness to continue the life that had been discovered there. And after some while, a community began to flourish. Those who had themselves chosen or been exiled or taken away from the life that was known by the majority, to find themselves in this place where the discovery of the unity and harmony and provision of needs from nature and life had been experienced. So a community grew up around the couple, and it was not long after that the king heard of this community that had been established in the very far reaches of his kingdom. So taking an entourage with him, he went to discover who and what this was. To his very, very great surprise, the one who greeted him was his daughter, his banished daughter. And when greeting and embracing him, she made a statement. "Father, you see." So the question is posed to us. What was this statement that the princess made to her father? To be banished, to be exiled. And the statement that was made at the end of the story. "Father, you see." What is it that rises to your lips now? What is it that we've known all along? And now we can stand up and speak it, knowing that we know, speaking with authority, the authority of knowing. What is it that rises to our lips now?
For me it would be something like, see, Father, I am living my truth.
Right on. In our nothingness, to be able to stand up and say, this is who I am. And still be that nothing? Is that a paradox? Not at all. Not at all, is it? Not at all. What power are in those words, I am that nothing?
The story resonates for me today because I feel like I was exiled and banished from the life that I knew of perceived security and my father was, say, Queensland Health. And I've found sanctuary in nature, and I feel now grateful. And so to Father or Queensland Health, I say thank you.
Yes.
There's lots of good that has come out of it already, so I feel
And I'm
grateful.
sure the discoveries are going on.